6 months had passed since the wildfire now known as the South Canyon Fire. 14 firefighters had died and a half dozen were injured badly. One sheriff's deputy was also injured, Barbara O'Connor, who received second-degree burns down the back of her legs. The scars had already faded, but the mental trauma still remained. Sheriff Culpepper had won re-election by a narrow vote, but being called a hero for saving a firefighter's life seemed to help. Mr. Asher Jackson Howard tearfully described how the sheriff helped pull him from danger, and that might have swayed more than a few voters. Fire season was done, and this winter the snow was heavy. Ian went from worrying about fires to skiers being where they shouldn't be and getting lost or killed. It was rather uneventful so far, as Ian was able to locate a few lost snowshoers.
English is hard.
Yeah, well, I got it pop up in front of me. Snowshoers and direct them to Jacob's hiking company, which did snowshoe tours in the winter. Jacob kept himself in a relatively busy, Jacob kept himself relatively busy with the company, working for his uncle and receiving a commendation for civilian bravery for his role in helping Asher Howard down the mountain and through the flames. And yet, none of you have slept very well lately. Dreams had come and gone. Some were of the fire, which would rightly give anyone nightmares, but others were of the cave, which was almost forgotten. The book and pictures never really amounted to anything. Any investigation into the pictures turned up nothing. None of the pictures belonged to anyone as far as anyone could tell. Sheriff Culpepper had brought the book and pictures after finally getting around to doing some research on about a dozen of the images and coming up blank. Near Rifle, Colorado, about 10 miles away from Glenwood Springs, the four of you decide to meet again. Jacob was taken into the dive bar by the sheriff, which was probably the best fake ID in the history of the United States. The neon lights flickered Budweiser, King of Beers, and the High Life. As a middle-aged lady walked over to serve you drinks, her face leathered from many years of smoking and hard drinking. And she looks down. "What can I get ya?"
Oh. Just. Oh God, hold on. I gotta collect myself. Give me a second. Does she have like a super massive hairy mole on her face?
No, she's got jet black hair. It's pulled back in a ponytail. Just she's not a witch. She's just an ugly bartender.
Ian kind of peruses the selection that they have on like a hand menu, and he says, just give me a whole bottle of whiskey.
And she's like, "A whole bottle?"
Bottle.
She's like, And she, like, the well, I'm assuming?
I don't want the swill if you're asking.
She looks at you, she's like, "I don't know if you know how bars work, son, but, the booze is kind of upcharged, or for a whole bottle of Beam or Jack, you're gonna pay over $100.
Yeah, and he'll pull out 100 and hand it to her.
And she rifles through it and shrugs and walks back over to the bar and grabs a...
Holds it up to the light, make sure it's real.
Yeah.
He's sitting there with the sheriff.
Yeah, well, I doubt it's a hundo, but she walks over and grabs a bottle of Jim Beam, which is got the neck drank out of it, and she brings it over, pops the pour off the top, and sits it down. And
he just reaches out for the bottle and takes it from her.
Yeah, and she's like, "I'll fill up a couple more shots for the neck there." And she looks at everybody else, and she's like, "Are you sharing the bottle, I hope?"
He like looks at everybody with a raised eyebrow, and he's like, and he looks back to the lady in question. Like, it should be remembered that Ian's quite a big dude.
And she's like looking at you sidelong, and
Scotch neat, whatever these two want.
And she's like, I'll have the usual, Daisy.
she looks at Jacob and she's like, She's like, should I ask to see your ID or do you just want the PBR?
Jacob says that's fine.
She just leans over and whispers to him, she's like, that means Babs Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, he didn't. He wasn't quite sure what she meant, but he's still fine with it.
Yeah, so she goes and walks off to collect your drinks and leaves you guys alone. There's not that many people in this bar right now. It's snowing pretty good when you got here. And you're in a fairly remote area of Rifle, Colorado, so you have some privacy to speak as you might want.
So, Sheriff, how you been?
Oh, pretty good. How about you, Ian?
Fucking frozen.
Yeah, it gets a little drafty up on the tower, does it?
Like you wouldn't believe. It seems to be that the old, well, the insulation is probably from the 50s, I would assume.
Jack looks over at Jacob. How about you? How have you been doing?
Jacob kind of shrugs and says, I've been having to work a lot. We got a lot of people coming up, and I don't really sleep a whole lot either, so...
Like, when you say that, he just, like, he, like, looks over and he's like, man, you don't even know the half of it. You don't even know the half of it. We had these, like, college co-eds, I guess they were, come up to the mountain to fuck around or something, and I tell you what, that... Just, I don't know how you deal with it, kid. I almost went ballistic on a couple of them.
It's definitely not my favorite thing.
Barbara kind of leans back in her chair. It's like, yeah, we've been getting a lot of those college folk around in our town. It's like, they've been bringing some interesting things from the city. We got a couple of good busts.
It's good to hear. Well, at least somebody's getting to do their job properly.
So, as you're talking, the bartender comes back over, Daisy, and she has a tray and has a finger of scotch, and she sits that down in front of the sheriff, and she brings over let's say a dirty martini to Barb, and a very
dirty martinis,
and puts a PBR in front of Jacob.
Fucking piss water. Oh God.
And
My first beer.
and she like nods and walks back over to the bar, pretty much without saying too much.
Yeah. So, out of the question, who called this little soiree together again, right? Like, who got us all together again? Was it the sheriff, or?
I mean, it was just kind of like you were talking and all decided to kind of. I mean, it could have been in any one of you. You guys have been talking about getting together for a while, but it could have been the sheriff. That's fine. It's up to you guys.
He seems like the kind of guy who's got that personality that gets everybody together.
Well, Sheriff, I hope you realize that I might need well, I rode out here on my bike, and I'm probably not going to return on my bike, if you catch what I'm talking about. And he, like, shakes the full bottle.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
It's like,
Out of character, were you referring to a bicycle or a motorcycle?
motorcycle.
Okay, I was gonna say you can't be that much of a weenie.
Well, it's also snowing, so.
Well, I mean, the roads would have been cleaned, right?
Well, this is Colorado, but yeah, well enough.
It's only like 10
Just out
miles
of
away, right?
curiosity.
Yeah,
You
it's
could,
fine.
Like, putt,
It's
you
fine.
could putt across the road if you
Yeah,
had to.
I'm just talking about a bicycle more or less, but
Fucking, I would never ride a bicycle in Colorado. I would die. Like those fucking hills, man.
Well, half the trip would be fine.
Just the other half, you'd be murdered. Just
So, out of curiosity, are we in uniform or are we in casual clothes?
whatever you decide.
Yeah, she's just gonna basically be dressed in like how her image is, kind of a leather jacket, kind of. She should dress warmer, but she seems to be kind of native to the Colorado area, so it's not bothering her too much.
Ian just has like a cattleman's jacket, the rancher style cattleman's jacket, and some like dark blue jeans and a dark V-neck, some heavy tier boots on, and like a ball cap on. Got the Red Sox emblem on it.
Nice.
Mark
Jack
that out of the
pretty
video,
much
else
looks
we're
like
gonna
his
get charged by
picture.
the Red Sox.
He just got off work and he's like, all right, Barb, let's go.
Well, she literally has no car and lives in the station, and like the spare basement area.
Oh, so that brings us to their next talking point. And he's like, well, Barbara, you settled into the Glenwood yet? Or Glen Springs? He kind of like stumbles over. It's like, oh, shit, I don't even remember the town's name.
And she's just kind of swirls around her martini and then kind of picks a hair out of it and kind of takes it away and takes a sip. And she's just like, well, I don't get paid a whole lot at the station right now, so it all went into Jack's campaign money, as you see. So I've just kind of been keeping it light. So
Ian just like looks over at the sheriff and he's like, you pay her? As like a kind of like side joke.
she's just kind of like, well, let me put it this way. He's the one buying the drinks.
Oh, well, you probably shouldn't spend all your money on hair products.
I am
Jacob
naturally
chuckles.
fantastic, sir.
I lost audio for a second there. I just came back to shouldn't spend all your money on hair products.
He kind of like chuckles. He's like, no, I'm kidding, Barbara. How's your legs?
And she, like, kind of her entire expression kind of grows a little haunted, and she just subconsciously kind of starts rubbing the area that's already quite healed. I mean, not even a scar, but she's like, is it strange to say that I still feel the pain sometimes?
No. I've had a few of my buddies that have gotten scars or second degree and even third degree burns all over their body. They talk about it a lot. It's good to hear that you're doing fine.
She takes another sip of her martini.
But you should probably lay off the alcohol. You were a little bit heavier than I thought you were.
Mac.
Yeah, right. That's what I was just saying.
You get that traditional woman stare that's, you either, you're gonna run for the hills, or you've seen it so much that you're so jaded that you don't even give a shit anymore.
Like he's
boys
probably got like a
just like
shit-eating
frozen.
grin on his face, just straight up. Like this is probably the most jovial you guys have seen him. He's pretty. If not, he's happy. He's just entertained by the evening. Probably doesn't get off the mountain all that much because
She's like, carefully, and I actually like you sometimes.
that's one of us.
So
Anyway.
as you guys are talking, the sheriff remembers what he brought, and that was in the news that he has about the book and the pictures, which is basically no news, but that he had Right. Investigated several of the pictures and came up nothing. So if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, while this is going on, Ian's actually gonna like like order some like some shitty like bar appetizers like I don't know,
Microwave
like
nachos.
microwave nachos.
You have no
Dude,
idea,
and-
like how I'm actually. This is kind of a bar I used to go to, that we're talking about here. But so she nods and she's like, okay, 1 second. She goes like around the corner where you can't actually see. She's like, I'm going to the kitchen. I'm going to the kitchen, and you just hear deet 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 as the microwave goes on. And then about 1 minute and 30 seconds exactly later, she comes back and puts these nachos, which is a fairly sizable like basket of nachos, and this cheese sauce with it. So
Cheese product.
yes,
Yeah, like Ian just looks at it and like looks back up at her, and he just looks to everyone else, and he just shrugs. He just shrugs, and like he instantly turns up like a fourth of the bottle and just starts eating the nachos with like a grunged face.
By the way, what year is this? 94, 95?
Six.
It would still be 90.
or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
94,
96.
94. I'm sorry, 94.
Okay.
Yep. It's
Nah,
like
he doesn't turn
December.
up a fourth of that whole bottle. He would be fucking gone. But he turns up a good chunk.
So while Ian's eating his nachos, Jack
Hey
brings,
man, I love nachos. No.
Jack brings up the book.
Is this December?
Yes, early December.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really thought we'd find something with all that, but didn't turn up a thing. No hits on any of the pictures. Tried at least a dozen of them.
Jacob looks at the sheriff and he's like, "How's that possible? Like, I mean, somebody clearly took these pictures, and these people have to be real, so it have to be from around here."
Well, I don't know, Jake. I suppose somebody could have brought it with them from out of town.
He looks obviously like super creeped out by that information. Like,
Yeah, just realize the images he probably would have are from missing people's victims, perps. Like, right? There's not just random pictures of random people like Google Images, right? But so it limits your pool a little bit. But yeah, there's nothing. Anybody else has a reaction to that?
No, because Barbara is still kind of miffed at the whole thing of the pictures not turning out very well in the cave in the first place, and it just kind of...
Yeah, I mean,
She's-
Ian actually is
she's
gonna
looked over
filter
the
through them.
wall.
Oh, sorry, Jam. I mean,
No, it's fine.
sorry,
She's
I was
already
eating
looked through them
nachos.
all.
And
Well, and honestly, Barb probably already knows.
Yeah, that's probably true. Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I mean, do you have the photos actually here with you?
Maybe in the car. He wouldn't have brought them in here.
I mean, Ian says, like, he stops eating his nachos and he, like, pushes it out to the middle of the table, a little bit away from him, right? And he, like, dabs the corner of his mouth with, like, a nearby napkin or something. He's really eating those nachos, man.
Jack reaches over and grabs one with a big jalapeno on it.
Oh, yes. One of those plastic jalapenos that she just threw on there.
Those cheap pickled ones.
I love how this has become a good thing. Like,
Yeah. Barb just kind of pushes herself up, grabs a big nacho covered in something, and then it's just like, I'll go get them, goes off to the car to grab the photo album.
yeah, Ian's just like, all right. Well, that's really strange. I mean, I don't know about you all, but it's almost like every night I start thinking about that damn cave again. almost like, fuck, like he's trying to tell me something. It's just strange, I know, but you don't have to worry about it. I already get told that's fucking strange.
Jacob kind of perks up when you say that and looks at you and says, like, what kind of things?
I mean, exactly what I said. It just is. It just, I don't know. More
Well,
dreams.
I mean,
these people are missing, right, Sheriff? And he just kind of, or right, Jack? Is that much as we know? They're all missing?
Well, no, we don't know that at all.
yeah, we don't know.
None of them have turned up as a missing person.
I don't.
Barbara comes back in like a minute later and has like a box full of like random police crap, and I imagine the photos are in there somewhere, and she starts digging through them. She takes off her jacket. She's wearing a Nirvana t-shirt.
At least your taste of music isn't that shit.
She's like, Kurt Cobain, it's gonna last forever. And then keeps digging through the photo album until she finds something. She's like, here you go. Kind of slides it over your way, and then slides the nachos away from you and starts eating them.
So is Jacob gonna press?
Yeah, so Jacob's going to continue and say, I've been having some dreams too, and I mean, I pretty much can't sleep sometimes. They're really weird.
And all this talk about dreams, Jack's brow kind of furrows because, of course, he's been having dreams too, but ordinarily that wouldn't be something he would consider mentioning. But everybody's having peculiar dreams about the fire, huh?
No, I don't see the fire. I see me walking over the ledge when me and
Ian.
Shit, sorry, you're gonna have to say that again.
Yeah, I think it cut out. What did I stop at?
When you're walking over the edge with.
Oh, so when we were in the cave and I was walking over that walkway with Ian, when I look down, all I see is like baby's arms reaching up at me.
Whoa, hold your horses, kid. That shit's like on another level.
Yeah, why do you think I can't sleep?
Jack, I think you might have to take him in for like drug detoxing or some shit.
Sip of PBR.
Yeah, you see this PBR hasn't been touched.
You've barely just cracked your beer or something like that. And Ian just reaches over and grabs it for you and puts it on the other side of the table. It's like you need to cool it, man.
Meanwhile, while they're kind of talking about it, she's gotten really quiet about talking about the fire in the cave, and she's kind of digging around the box, and she's like, she finds a joint in there. She's like, I'll take care of this and send it to evidence.
Yeah, but Ian, when he sets the drink off to the side and he kind of like shakes his head, he like looks up and says, no, you said something about dead babies, didn't you? Or babies or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had that it's the same dream almost every night, and it's the cave. I mean, I can even scarcely remember the fire anymore. I mean, it's only about the cave, and you're not the only one that has been dreaming of babies. I mean, I only hear like crying babies in the cave. And then he kind of like takes a really long chug of this bottle with no ice, no chaser, nothing, and he says, among other things.
But Jacob says, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing for me. That's all I think about.
And Barbara kind of flashes back to an image in her mind of looking at a photo, and it looks like there's like maybe a kind of a, you know, those creepy black and white photos of like babies in the dark, and it looks like their eyes are shining kind of thing. She just shudders. She's like, I don't have any memories.
Yeah, but you and Jack didn't go in that cave with me and him. I mean,
they did.
Like as far as deep, but and he goes to say, Jacob, do you remember anything else at all?
Like from
it can't be just be a coincidence that we both heard. Well, I had heard babies. I didn't see them.
No.
You saw them?
No, in my dream, yeah, but not when we were there. The only thing weird about that place was it just seemed like that formation, whatever I was walking on, never ended.
Yeah, you damn near got to the end of that rope.
And it wasn't a very short rope.
No.
While the two are talking about the experience in the cave, Jack's left eye kind of squints and he's sort of stroking his beard a little. Doesn't say anything, just very obviously deep in thought.
Yeah, I mean, Ian's gonna start pressing his fellow dream sharer again, and he says, I mean, do you remember anything before that? Like do you remember? What do you see when you dream? What is your dream? Do you dream like going through the entire cave? Do you see things before that? Like.
Hold on, sorry. No, not really. That's pretty much it. It's just me going through there, and then I get to the walkway, and then that's what I see.
Yeah, Ian's pretty damn quiet after that. Like he, like during this whole time, like him and Jacob have been having this conversation. Barbara's just eating all my fucking nachos and like.
Yeah, she's like licking her fingers.
Fucking God, no wonder they don't pay you, woman. You fucking eat like a horse.
She's like, yeah, well, we don't really get much time to eat. We're always chasing somebody down.
Seriously, where the fuck does that shit go? And like he, and then he like just shakes his head. He's like, man, don't worry about it. Yeah, and he gets like real quiet from the idle chit chat that's going on, right? Like he probably doesn't say much more after that. Almost looks like some shit's on his mind.
So as you are discussing, or have discussed your dreams and are kind of contemplating that, you hear someone else come in through the front door. It's not a big deal. You hear the beep of to let the employees know that sound. And the guy walks forward. He's got a goatee, looks fairly normal, dressed for the weather, that sort of thing. And he walks straight towards the bar, and basically he comes up to the bar, and he really stinks very, very, very badly, like BO, and he kind of says, "Jerry needs a drink," and the bartender kind of looks at him and then asks, "What do you want?" And he's like, "Coke, Sprite, Pepsi, yeah, any of those." And he was kind of awkward the way he's talking, and so she takes her nozzle and like gives him a glass of Mountain Dew, and he drinks it, and he kind of nods, and he's like, "Ah, yes, do," and he kind of turns and looks over and sees the four of you, and his eyes kind of get big, and he kind of walks over and looks directly over Ian's shoulder, very like uncomfortably close. probably like 2 or 3 inches away from your face as he's like looking over at the photo album, and he's like, "Oh, Jerry wants that," and he like reaches out and like points to the book. He's like, "Jerry wants that."
And then Barb will like literally just slap his hands like, "Hey, that's police property."
And he looks at you and looks down at the book, and he like reaches for the book to take it.
Yeah, I mean, Ian's gonna reach out a hand and like basically like isolate his wrist. So it's like something like from a martial art, almost like a mixed martial art, where he like isolates the wrist and like grabs it. Basically, he doesn't do anything forceful. He just grabs it. He's like, I'd listen to the lady, and he like kind of flicks a finger at the sheriff, who's like, hey, who you couldn't see because he's in like a booth or something, and he's like, the sheriff's badge is like right there, and he maybe, what do? Do you like tip your hat or something?
Yeah, Jack pushes the hat back a little bit. Jerry, how'd you like a place to sleep tonight?
Jerry says, "Jerry must read," and he kind of like wiggles his hand free, and he rears back to punch Ian. And so we're gonna jump into a combat here. So I want everybody to roll initiative. Just roll D10, and then we'll keep track of it.
You don't add anything to initiative, do you?
So you have an initiative score, and you add whatever you roll to it.
Trying to find where my initiative score is.
It should be, if you look at a character sheet, it will be...
It's in traits.
Yep.
Third column over.
Yep, and just make sure you don't have any...
Yeah, 14.
If you have any like modifiers or anything like that, please let me know.
I don't think I have any modifiers.
I don't think I do either.
I think it's really hard to get something for modifiers in that sense, actually.
There's like fast action. There is one merit that is... Ian, what is yours?
So it says my initiative
14 for me.
Same for Jack.
Jack is...
Jeez. I guess that martini got to her a little bit more than I thought it would.
Haven't had time for the alcohol to give me drunken courage, but
Barb, what are you?
I'm at 7. That's with the +6.
Okay. And Jacob, what are you?
It's 12.
Okay. All right.
I'll this guy have like 33 initiative.
Let's see. I gotta find him. Hold on.
This is probably the worst person to punch. It'd almost be better if he punched anyone other than me.
Well, he might not have a chance to. We'll see. All right. So got that.
Now, before I actually do anything crazy or like against the law, is he actually like? Does it seem like he's actually intending me harm?
Well, he's gonna go first because he rolled a 10.
Yeah, that's par for the course in your games.
Yeah. All right. So basically, he just kind of, and it's not like a punch, like a straight or a roundhouse. It's more like he clubs you, very unskilled, kind of just.
Well,
he's going at you. He's going at you like that, right? So it's not really like he's trying to like throw any kind of skill. He's just like, very unskilled kind of swing. So we'll see if he hits. So your melee defense is what?
Let me double check. I think it's. Pretty sure it's 4, but I think it's more than that.
Oh my god, my defense is terrible.
Higher of wits or...
It should be in your traits too. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
but I
it's
have a
actually
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's actually 5.
Let me see
No,
because
no, it's a combination of brawl and wits. I think for
your
me.
defense.
Hmm.
I see it set as 4, right?
Hmm.
So okay,
I might have put in there. Actually, no, it's only 4. It's only 4 because I'm looking at it now. It's only 4.
okay,
And if I find out on a later date that it's more than that, then I'll address it as per.
that's
But
fine.
it says 4. It says higher of wits or dexterity, so wits.
Okay, so what happened here? So and you have an armor of 1 basically.
Hmm.
So this is kind of like your combat to find out how it goes. So Jerry punches. He has 6 dice. Okay, so he's a brawl of 3 and a strength of 3. So his 6 dice are subtracted by Ian's defense and his armor for melee. So that would be 5. So Jerry's going to be rolling 1 die. Okay, makes sense for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a success. And he rolls again. So on any roll, if you hit and you roll a 10, you wait. No, I did that right.
Not on fist. Not on fist. You have to have a thing to get the 9 again or 10 again roll. I think.
I don't think so. I think on any attack, really, you roll again on a.
It doesn't really matter to me, but
Well, let's just go with it for now. So, all right. So he missed on that one anyway. So typically, on most weapons, if you roll a 10 on a success, in any roll actually, you roll a 10, you roll another dice immediately. Okay. There's some weapons and things that say roll a 9 again, right? 9 again, 8 again, 10 again. That's what that means. If you roll those successes, because 7 through 10 is a success. Or 8 through 10, I should say.
Like the Vorpal quality in D&D.
So basically, anytime you roll a 10 or a 9 for special things, which is not common, you roll again. And so you can get more successes. Okay, so that's generally how it works. So basically, he punches Ian, kind of clubs him on the side of the head, but Ian's kind of like little like shot. Well, I mean, you react how you want. You take 1 bashing damage, right? But
1 bashing damage.
yeah.
Yeah, like Ian just gets clocked on the face like after he like wrenches his wrist from him, and Ian just like his face just kind of turns, and you can obviously see it's like red and shit like that. And before the cop can react, you can see like the table that you guys are at like throws up, and Ian's gonna throw a single punch, and I'm declaring haymaker.
Okay.
With this, I'm just gonna read it out for you, just to make sure that everybody understands what it is, Ted.
Yep, that's fine.
Your character can deliver powerful, accurate blows capable of knocking an opponent unconscious with a single punch. A single brawl attack equals to or exceeds the target's size and damage might knock him unconscious. A stamina roll is made for the victim. If he succeeds, he is conscious, but he still loses his next action due to the body blow. Basically, if it fails, he's unconscious for a number of turns equal to the damage done.
Okay.
And
So
now you would tell me his defense.
Yep. His defense is 1. His armor is 1. So subtract 2 from the pool.
So strength 3, brawl 3? I think 3? Yeah. So I'd have 4 dice?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Oh shit, I did that wrong. But it doesn't matter, you can see it.
It looks fine, yeah. So you roll again.
Well, there's also the 7 there. Is that technically a success?
I'm drawing a blank. Hold on. I don't know why. I should know this simple of a rule, but hold on.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. 2 seconds. I'm pretty sure it's 8, 9, 10. It's been a minute, so hold on.
It might be 8, 9, 10. I don't know. But either way, that's still 3 damage, and that is regular human size, I believe. No.
No, 5 is regular human size.
I'm trying to just see where. How much damage is that?
It'd be 3. Right? Unless you have something special to...
Yeah, I'm just making sure I don't. But it is lethal damage.
Okay.
You just see this guy's, like, nose fucking break. Just with one punch, he just flips the table over, and it's like the fist just kind of, like, crunches into his face, and, like, blood just starts pouring out of it. It's like Ian just flipped a fucking gasket.
You see Jack kind of wince.
Yeah, 8, 9, 10. So you just bash him in the face, and his nose just, goes flat, and blood just trickles out. It doesn't gush, it just starts to trickle. But he stumbles back, but he still looks dazed, but he looked dazed when he started this whole thing. So
He can't act in it. Well, he still needs to make a stamina check.
I thought that was only if you beat his size.
That might be the case. I might be wrong. Anyway, continue.
Well, that's fine.
Well, still body blow still applies because it says so in the rules. And what body blow is casting for, if successful, inflict a single brawl attack equal to. Oh no. Yeah, it has to be above his size. So no.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're doing this so we all figured out kind of our stuff. So, go ahead, Sheriff.
So Jerry is then not dazed?
Not technically, no.
Okay.
Not mechanically. I mean, he's kind of...
He just got hit with 3 lethal damage. He's not swinging at full effectiveness now.
Well, if he was stunned, then Jack was just going to stand up and put a pair of handcuffs on him.
You would have to successfully brawl him to do that. It'd probably be considered a grapple. You can do that if you want. I'd have to look for the rules, but...
I should have known this on top of my head.
Yeah, grapple. You roll strength and brawl to achieve the hold. And then the next turn you can throw the cuffs on. If he doesn't get away.
Yeah, this probably is not going to be very good, but let's try it. So 2d10?
We're out of our jurisdiction, aren't we?
No, he's the county sheriff.
That's true.
This is in the county. So your strength and brawl is what?
It's going to end up being 2.
Minus his 1 defense, so and his armor
so
technically. So well, actually, hold on. Let's see. Yep, defense. So 1 die.
Does that make it?
Yep, 1 die.
1.
Armor doesn't count, but.
No.
So you try to grab his wrist, and he kind of is able to like push you away. Jacob, what are you gonna do?
I don't really know. There's nothing really Jacob can do.
I mean, you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. You can step back and grab your PBR if you want. But
Can Jacob just wait for the next person to try to restrain him and then help them? Because he definitely wouldn't go at that guy alone. Because he's not equipped for that.
yeah, let's say we can say you can give an assist. You can give him extra die for attacking if somebody's trying to grapple him.
So yeah, that's what.
Because I'm gonna need it because I'm not even trained in brawl.
Yeah, me either. That's the thing.
Yeah, you'll get a -1 on your roll. Or you could punch him or kick him or try. I mean, you could if you wanted.
No, I'm gonna try and restrain him like a cop should, not try to escalate the situation. And she would know, tactically speaking, that he's not all there. So
Bath salts.
you've got to approach him cautiously. But yeah, well, this is pretty bath salts. But yeah,
yeah, I'm just kidding. So yeah,
Alright,
so if you're gonna roll that, that's fine. So roll your strength -1, and -2 total.
But I'm assisting, right?
Okay, so yeah, so it'd be -2 + 1, so -1 total to your roll. To your strength.
So my strength is 2.
So you're gonna roll one die.
0.
So your strength is 2. Your brawl is nothing, so that means you're rolling 1 die because all physical checks are -1 if you're not skilled. So you're going to be rolling 1. Then Jacob's giving you +1, that's 2, versus his defense -1, so 1. So you're rolling 1 die.
So there's no negatives to it then.
Just well, it didn't come out that way, but. Yeah. So just all right.
Technically, that would be a crit.
Well, you don't need to do the -1 on the D10,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. When I say -1 or whatever, I'm talking about die. So you never alter. Well, you do sometimes, but not very often. Do you alter your roll? You're gonna. When I say
So
-1,
technically
I'm talking about die. So you rolled 10. So go ahead so it does. You don't need any more successes for this. So basically, Barb is able to sneak up behind him, and how do you get a hold of him?
She immediately knocks his legs out from under him and pins his hands against his back, the small of his back, as she goes to cuff him because she still has some of her police gear on her. It's just not her full battle regalia. She wasn't expecting it. In fact, she probably got the cuffs from Jack.
Okay, that's fine.
She's got her badge though, and she starts immediately giving him his Miranda rights.
It's not. There's no damage for that. She just has a hold of him.
No, I'm talking about for me.
Oh, it is bashing? Okay, that's fine. So you have a hold of him, and then he's going to try to get away, obviously. So he is going to roll a strength brawl. Actually... So what's your strength?
This is 2, and again, I've identified myself as a police officer, and that I start reading him his rights as I'm cuffing him.
Yeah, so you're reaching for your cuffs to get it on him. So your strength is 2. He's gonna be rolling 6 dice -2, so he rolls 4 dice here to get free.
Don't forget, he possibly has negatives because he,
Because of his bashing damage, it depends. No, he's not within.
No, it's because it's lethal damage.
Yeah, he's not within 3 of his maximum. That's
okay.
when you start getting. It doesn't matter if it's bashing or lethal. Once you get 3 to your maximum pool, yet. Okay, so, all right, so he basically, as you're kind of getting behind him and trying to get the cuffs on, he swings his arms away and breaks free, and he's like, "I want to read the book." And he's free again. What does Ian do?
Oh, God. I don't want to kill this dude.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, God.
I didn't have my pepper spray on me.
You could have your pepper spray on you. I would be okay with that.
Don't use your pepper spray inside of a. Don't ruin this for everybody in the bar. Like.
Yeah, and you notice the bar is not all that like impressed with what's going on. They're kind of like, yeah, this is kind of the way it is. Shit happens.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to use combination blows to hit him twice.
Okay.
So it's still -2.
Yep.
Oh, jeez. That didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Miss. So the next one takes one less die, right? So the second attack suffers -1 penalty.
2 successes.
Yep, and you roll one again if you want.
As he tries to blunder the guy.
Yeah, so you hit him again. Is it bashing or lethal? Did you decide?
I haven't put a point to it, so it's just going to be bashing. It still will fill up, so it doesn't
Oh
matter.
yeah, absolutely. It would fill it. You can knock him unconscious, that's for sure. So you hit him again. It doesn't knock him unconscious, but again,
he's probably definitely feeling it now.
You know,
like Ian's flipping out, like he something flipped a switch.
You notice you pound on him, and although he's getting like you're landing good shots, he doesn't seem as like affected as you might have assumed. You've beat some guys before, and yeah, exactly. He is kind of like, he doesn't seem that screwed up by it. All right, Sheriff.
Barbara just kind of looks helplessly at Jack. She's like, Jack, I could use some help here.
And so Jack will again, probably going to go back like last time, but Jack will again try and subdue this fellow.
Okay. So, strength brawl again.
And, yep, Jack misses.
It would probably be better if you just all assisted each other. Like, well, I know it's like, you know, him already rolling, but it would probably be better if they actually just assisted each other. And by the way,
that's fine.
He should be taking like massive penalties because they're technically like 3 people fighting him right now.
That might be true.
All I can say is, regardless if we're in a bar or not, the next turn, if he does anything, I'm pulling out the pepper spray.
Don't ruin this. Don't make this bigger than it has to be. Okay.
All right. Yeah, you guys can
ruin it. I just...
Yeah. What does Jacob do? He's gonna help again.
Yeah, he's gonna see that Ian's probably the most well equipped, and he's gonna wait. Actually, no, he'll help Barbara with whatever issue which he tries to restrain.
Okay. Barbara, I think you're rolling how many die? 1 die, right?
I think it's just straight up 1 die. No
Yeah,
negatives.
1 die with his help.
Alright, this is gonna fail. Yeah, this failed.
Okay. So this time, basically, instead of like swinging, or he's not pinned right now, actually Jerry like scoops up the book and puts it in front of his face and just like starts looking at it, mesmerized, and he's able to flip a couple pages before Ian acts. So he's not even like trying to hit you guys anymore. He's like literally reading the book in front of you.
I'm gonna like restrain him.
Okay.
If
Brawl strength. So
isn't it strength plus brawl?
Yeah,
That's
brawl strength minus his defense. So -1 die to whatever your roll is.
You know, this guy's gonna end up being probably the even though he's like an idiot, he's probably gonna end up being important. Like, we actually need him for something.
Obviously a savant.
Right, man.
Well, you know, the funny thing is I was at work today and there was literally a guy who looked just like this and smelled just like him. The standard Texas guy walks in and just like, oh my
Oh, no,
God, I
hey,
can smell you from across the grill.
You're gonna be killed. You better watch out. So Ian, you restrain him. What happens?
So
Or
basically,
you grab
like,
a hold of
like,
him. Basically, you don't restrain him quite.
basically, I like I don't really do any damage to him. So what happens is like as he picks up the book and starts flipping through a couple pages, like Ian just kind of like he does some sort of like whereas you guys noticed him, you probably didn't see this before, but he like adopted a very kind of like boxer kind of like front end kind of bob and weave stance with that last thing he did. And what he does is he bounces off the back of his back foot and explodes up through the guy's middle, and kind of like mounts him. And when he does, like, slams him onto the floor and mounts him, and then he like puts his left arm over his throat, and he locks his other arm on top of the on the dude's face, and he's got like his elbow right in his chin.
And so basically, because he's grappled, he's not technically incapacitated, but since it's the sheriff's turn next and you're engaged, you can cuff him if you'd like.
All right. Then that's what Jack will do.
All right, so you throw him in cuffs and are able to roll him over, and so you cuff him, and he just continues to say, Jerry wants to read that book.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna scoop Jerry up, and take him out, and put him in the car.
Yeah,
Barbara gets on the horn with what I can't remember her name, the old lady who works at our office.
All right, so you walk over to the phone in the bar to call.
Yeah, the old payphone.
Well, they have a phone behind the bar they let you use. So you call, and what do you say?
Did he have like a wallet or anything on him to identify who he was?
You rifle through his pockets, and he has a bus ticket.
And she just calls the office, and I can't remember the lady's name who's from the office. But,
I don't remember either.
She's like
Marge, maybe.
I think that was it.
Marge. Hey, Marge, we got a domestic dispute here. Went after the sheriff and a couple of our friends. We're gonna be bringing them in for some booking.
Marge is like,
Bubble
okay,
Vince
well, I
for-
thought you guys were going out to have fun tonight. I guess you can never stay out of trouble. And that's about it.
She just rolls her eyes. She's like, it's cell 3 will do. Just make sure it's ready for us.
She's like, spick and span, my dear.
yeah. Ian, as he gets up and lets the tard up, he kind of like he spits on the ground, and you can see like a little bit of blood in his mouth, and he like, stands there for a second and like looks at the people and or the group, and he like looks at his like toppled over whiskey, which is like half of it spilled out onto the floor, more than half of it, and he like picks up the bottle and puts the top on it, and puts the table back up and sits back down.
And you notice that not only has some of your booze spilled, but there's also a few nachos left on the ground and the remnants of the cheese sauce. And Daisy like rolls her eyes and comes over with like paper towels and just like starts cleaning them up. And she's like, you always get into trouble around here. And she's kind of like laughs, and she's like, who was that freak?
You ever seen him before, Daisy?
She like shakes his head. She's like, I've never seen him before, Sheriff. Never.
Sure, it's all right to leave. And he kind of like stops his. Pretty sure that guy was handicapped. I'm pretty sure I just broke a handicapped guy's nose. God damn it.
Ian, they came up and slowed you.
Well, you might want to actually take care of his fucking nose before he dies in your car, Sheriff.
Yeah, actually, we might want to take
You know what? I'll go do it.
Jerry to county, as in the hospital.
God. It's not exactly how I wanted to spend my evening. Why did he want the damn book? And he goes outside.
I was interested in it.
He starts to walk outside, looking forlornly at the nachos on the ground.
Well, and Jack would have to go with you so that you could get into the cop car.
Do you have like a first aid kit in your cop car?
Yeah, he does.
Of course.
Yeah, and so as you approach, he's just like sitting in the back, and he's just like looking in your general direction with this kind of strange look. And as soon as you open the door, he's well, as you get there, you can see through the window that he's like saying something. And as you open the door, he just like, Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read.
Jerry, can you do me a favor, please? I want to help you. Can I help you?
He's like,
Look,
let me read. Let Jerry read.
Look, I'll let you read if you let me take care of your nose, okay? You're bleeding.
And he really doesn't respond. Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read, and sometimes he goes into silence and kind of like looks
has
at
the
you.
right to remain silent. She closes the door on him.
No. I mean, Ian will put his hand in the door, and he's like, listen, look, I did this shit. Just go get the book so he'll shut up.
It's really not. It's breaching protocol, but
The book is
What's it
literally
gonna
blank, right? So there's nothing on the book. It's completely blank. There's no pages with anything on it.
Yeah, no. Like, Ian just has like an epiphany in his head. He's like, you can read that shit, Jerry?
Jerry wants to read, but he doesn't like say it like a chant. You're not sure if it was like some sort of hit the inflection of his voice, you know? Jerry wants to read.
If we let you read, will you let me fix your face, Jerry?
And he kind of just wiggles his eyebrows.
like Ian just kind of like looks outside and just shakes his head. He's like, he spits again into the freshly fallen snow, and like it's crimson, and he just like, God Almighty. Barbara, could you please just go get the book, the blank ass book? Jerry, you know that book's blank, right? As he like looks into the car.
And Jerry like kind of smiles and looks like around, like kind of, you know, when he looks around, he moves his kind of his like whole torso, and so his shoulders move with him as he's like, he doesn't just move his head. He's kind of like oddly
Jerry, do you have
Barbara
some sort of?
comes back with the book, but before she lets him, have the book, she's like, "You're cleaning the piss smell out of my car," and then she finally lets go of it.
Yeah, his hands are still bound, so.
Right, he's cuffed.
Sheriff, do you mind flipping the pages for him when he needs it? And Ian will go to the trunk after it's opened up and take out like the first responders kit and start like tending to the guy's face.
Yeah, Jack will go along with this, see if we can calm Jerry down with the apparently blank book, get his nose fixed.
Yeah, so you like Jerry is completely still as he's looking at the book, but besides his facial expressions, which are varied, right? And as you kind of are messing with his nose, you expect, somebody to like wince, like cringe, like call out in pain. He does none of that. He's like tilts his head so he can it kind of makes you hard to work on his face because he's like making craning around you to see the book better, and he's like, you see his eyes moving back and forth like quite rapidly actually, and like then all of a sudden he'll stop and look up at the sheriff until he turns the page, and he does the exact same thing again, over and over and over again, as long as you sit there.
Plus whatever bonus dice I can get from the first aid kit.
Yeah, you said his
While,
nose.
while they're doing that, Barbara gets, witness statements to corroborate their story, so for future reference and whatnot.
Oh, that's what I was missing. Specialty dice.
Oh yeah, you had one specialty dice for your. Yep. We'll remember it next time. So yeah, so you said his nose, and the bleeding lessens, and it's coagulating, but he doesn't seem to pay much attention to you whatsoever.
God. Is he actually reading a book as Ian, slumps down to the edge of the car and shuts the door?
And
I assume Jack's letting him read through, the graded divider, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
yeah, anytime you stop, he starts. Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read.
Can we attempt to read Jerry's lips while Jerry's reading?
He doesn't
muttering
he doesn't really mouth anything. It's like expressions like, ooh, stuff like that. It's all kinds of weird stuff like that, but no actual mouthing of words.
Barbara.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Barbara comes into the passenger side of the car, and she just kind of leans over to Jack. She's like, "Jack, I don't really like all of this. This is a little weird for me. Can we just put him in the cell? I mean, we've got all our statements. I mean, I know we're clear, so let's just go home."
Yeah, no, actually. Ian, as he slumps up against the car and you two are having a conversation, Ian kicks some snow over in a little mound in front of him, and then he stands up really quickly, really really fast, and might possibly startle you guys for him moving that quickly, because he stays still for a while as you guys are flipping through pages and whatnot, waiting for HQ to come back and stuff like that, and he sprints into the bar, and Jacob's probably still in there, and he's like, Jacob, where are those pictures?
Probably in this box, right?
Yeah, there would be some in the box.
Yeah, he because maybe Barbara just left it in there because it's a scene.
Right. So he grabs them and right here.
It's he takes the box and he starts running back to the car.
Jacob follows now.
Yeah, and without saying anything to everyone else, Ian just pulls a random photo up against in his hand and slaps it against the window next to Jerry.
So as you slap the photo next to Jerry, he kind of looks at it and just looks back to the book and just keeps going at it. It doesn't seem to do anything for him. So do you continue? What are you doing with the book? Are you just going through the entire thing?
I'm going with the irrationality part of him. He's grinding his gears together, and he'll start filtering through photos and not really saying anything to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Jack's not gonna sit here and turn pages for this guy indefinitely. He would agree with Barb that we need to go on and take Jerry to the station.
So you stop, and he starts whimpering, and first he's Jerry wants to read, and then he starts whimpering and he starts crying eventually.
Barb just kind of looks at Ian. She's like, if you feel confident sitting in there with him, you can read the book to him, but I just want peace and quiet.
I don't know what kind of wizard you think I am, but I can't read blank pages.
I mean, show him the book. Don't be a smartass.
And yeah, I mean, Ian gladly takes the book from you, opens the passenger side, just leaves his bike there, and then like he starts opening the book, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And he puts a hand up to Jerry, and he sets the pictures down in the car, and he walks inside with his bike. Like he walks up to his bike, goes to the bar, strolls his bike into the bar.
And Daisy's like, "You can't bring that in here. What are you doing? Get out!" And she
Yeah,
like
and
points to the door.
Ian, because he has like at least $500 a month. I'm gonna argue that he has some change left, other than the 100
Okay.
and the few bucks.
Okay.
And he just gives her 300 and says, "You're closing for the night. I'll come get my bike in the morning."
And she looks around and she's like, "I was calling last call anyway in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes we'll close and fine."
You're not gonna make $300 tonight anyway, so.
She's like, "Maybe if you
It's like
stay here,
8 o'clock at
sweetheart." And she kind of winks at you.
Oh God, like. Yeah, like his eyebrow twitches, and it's like, "If you touch my bike, I swear to God." And he just like steps outside, and
And you see her on the bike, and she's just like rubbing her butt against it, on the just,
oh God.
no. So okay, you head back outside, and so all right. So what is Ian doing? Is he showing the book? Is he going through the pictures? What is he doing?
I think it's like Ian. I mean, he doesn't really understand what he's doing, right? Like,
Right. Yep.
it's not clairvoyant, but he's like bringing up the book, and he'll leave it on a page. Like he'll flip a page, and he'll bring up a bunch of photos, and he'll wait until Jerry gets too crazy and too unconsolable to like start flipping through pages and photos, right? Like, so he'll bring up a photo next to the page, and when he doesn't make it like a motion or his face or anything, he puts another photo up, and another and another and another, just keep flipping
Just
through
going
them.
through them.
Yeah.
So as you're doing that, you basically are showing the pictures and flipping through the book, and he is way more interested in the book. He looks at the picture in passing, just looks right back, doesn't really care. But you pull one photo up and you put it there, and he looks at it and he just starts giggling. He starts laughing hysterically. And then you turn the photo and you look at it and you're very confused and you look at Jerry and you look at the photo and you swear this is a photo of Jerry.
Yeah, like Ian kind of like drops the photo at first and like looks at it in the floorboard, and like looks back at Jerry with the book in his hand, and like looks at the photo, and like he holds it up, like he picks the photo up and like holds it next to his face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
they look minus the broken nose.
It looks, I mean, maybe the facial hair is a little different. Maybe he's a little younger, but you're pretty sure. But he after he laughs at it, he goes back and starts looking at the book again. He's ignoring it again. And so if you're not flipping the pages, he's freaking out.
I'll flip the page just to keep him occupied, but I like, as we're driving along, and how long does it take to find that, basically?
You're back. You're in the outskirts of Glenwood Springs.
Yeah, I basically say, Sheriff, you need to stop the car right now.
I think he stepped away, but we can.
By the way, what happened to Jacob? Did we just leave him behind?
I mean, yeah, kinda.
No,
I have a van, so.
Well, I mean, actually, the way we keep this thing going,
the sheriff brought you with him, would be what I would say.
Witness.
You're sharing a seat with Barbara. Well, actually, they don't have car computers yet, so you're in the middle. You're in bitch seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have big seat. Yeah.
Okay, Jack. Like, Ian looks up to you after a little bit of commotion, and you can see his eyes in the rear view, and he says, "You need to pull the car over right now." We need to talk.
Jack would furrow his brow, but he'd find a suitable place to pull off.
Yeah, I think Ian, like, just as the car is rolling to a stop, he like opens the door and puts a boot on the ground and like steps out and shuts it really fast as it like crawls to a stop, and he's already like rounding the side of the cop car towards you.
Well, but that doesn't work because you're in the back of a cop car.
Oh yeah. Jesus.
You can see who's been in the back of one before.
Or put
I don't make a habit of getting in the back of police cars.
No,
But,
he let you out. How's that?
Yeah, and when you come over to the side of the car, he'll like get out and like he just hands you the photo and steps out.
Jack looks at the photo and, what's up, Ian?
I think he missed part of the conversation.
And which is perfect.
Oh yeah, like
Which is perfect.
yeah, he hands you the photo and he doesn't say anything. He just points at the photo and then points at Jerry.
Yeah, and as the sheriff looks at the photo, he kind of thinks it looks like Jerry.
Huh. So Jack will, kind of do the photo, hold it out at arm's length, kind of in Jerry's direction, and look at the two.
Yeah, I mean, this could be brought out to like maybe you guys in the actual car, like Barbara and Jacob. Do you guys get suspicious as to why we're outside in the cold and like just on the side of the
Yeah,
road?
you see they're looking at the photograph and kind of looking back at Jerry. You don't know why, but
So, Jim, you said Barb's out of the car?
Well, yeah, but she makes sure that we don't lock anybody in. Besides, what's his face?
no, it's fine.
Right, well...
Yeah, Ian starts pacing back and forth, and like you can see the gears are turning in his head.
Jack
And
does
so,
the,
at this
the,
point-
come here with his head to Barb. Like,
Yeah, at this part, Jerry's screaming because nobody's letting him read. Jerry wants to read, Jerry wants to read, Jerry wants to read, just over and over and over and over.
She
This
just
is that
gets
fucking
exasperated.
character from that vampire game all over again. Oh god.
She just kind of gets an exasperated look on her face and then scowls at Ian for stopping this and not waiting. And she's just like, I'll read the damn book to him. And opens up the cab and starts showing him pages. But, she makes him like sit on the furthest part away from the car.
Jack, before you do that, Jack was telling you. Before you do that, Jack was telling you to come here. He was giving you to come here with his head.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so she's like, what's up, boss?
And he shows her the picture. He says, does this look like our friend to you?
She just sighs and she's like, shit. Well, there's one person on our missing persons case, but I know where to go with this. This is circumstantial evidence. It could be him. I mean, it most certainly looks like him, but it's hard to go off of. I mean, we'll have him in the tank for a while at the very least.
No. And Ian kind of speaks up and he's like, no, you can't take him there. He knows something. He knows something about that shit. You understand? Like, I was flipping through the book and he started laughing at his own picture.
And she just kind of looks at him pointedly. He's like, he assaulted you, and he's assaulted us.
Yes, I
There's a
know.
law that
I
is
know. But there's something more to this. You just don't understand. You can't have him detained. We need him.
What does Jacob say about this as he's watching these three?
I was still in the car. I don't really know what they're talking about, but since I'm tired of Jerry saying his name over and over, I started just reading the book or flip through the book. Oh wait,
Okay.
It's not in the front seat; it's in the back.
That's
So-
fine. No,
Oh,
they
no, I
wouldn't have
took it
left
out
it
with
there.
me.
That's fine. You flip through and he's calms down. And so you flip through a lot of pages at this point because he's reading really quick, and you get to the
Yeah, I'm trying
end.
to finish it.
Yeah, you get to the end, and his head is like shaking, and like you don't know, it's like anticipation maybe. And this at the very end, like you go through that last page and he's like going super quick, and he just screams at the very end, and his eyes like get real bloodshot, and blood actually starts trickling down from his eyes, and he like looks at you and he smashes his head against the divider and smashes his head against the divider, and you see blood just smashes and smashes and smashes.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, as soon as the eyes went bloodshot, he pretty much kicks the cop car door open and just starts screaming like,
yeah,
holy
no,
shit, Jerry, holy shit.
Yeah, no, like Ian, like when the screaming happens, he like rips open the door or tries to, and it like jams. He's like, "Get the fucking door open!"
Oh, yeah. Barbara immediately pulls her little 38 from out of like the back of her pants and has it, trained on what's going on because she doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Like Ian's gonna try to restrain this guy and like stop him from crushing his fucking skull.
Yeah, and by the time you get in there, I mean, his face is just a solid mess. I mean, he's easy to stop, right? He's bound, but I mean, there's blood everywhere, and you can see like the underlayer of skin and meat of his forehead just split open. There's a good 6-inch gash across his forehead, easy.
Does anybody puke?
No, Jacob is like, he is literally, he's fucked up right now. Like, he's on the side with that book. Like,
I bet you're fucking...
He's clutching the book and like holding the book away from him, like towards you guys, and throwing up the other way. Like, and trying to get out the words, this book is this book. Like, that's all you can really hear.
Yeah, like Ian just flipped on to like emergency like combat lifesavers course in his head, and he's just like pulls this guy out of the cold ground and like starts like he's got like a knee to his chest to keep him down if he's still trying to like get away, and he's like, somebody get me the medical kit and like call the ambulance right now.
And he's trying to like headbutt your leg. I mean, he's just like.
Jack's helping Ian restrain him.
Barbara's already getting onto the radio, and she's like, "This is car number blah 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 blah. At mile marker blah 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 on highway blah 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 blah. We need an ambulance out here immediately." And she starts giving off. This guy's acting. He's not. He's what's the word I'm looking for? He's needing to be restrained. So be prepared.
Bring a straight jacket.
Yeah, well, bring whatever you need to, stop him from hurting himself or everybody else.
And essentially, so you've got a knee on him, and he's kind of like now he's like taking the head up and then back into the good thing. There's this kind of like snowy, so he's like hitting his head backwards, and like he's doing everything he can to like injure himself. Obviously, you guys keep him from doing that, and so you're not far from Glenwood Springs, as I was saying. So basically, the ambulance pulls up rather quickly, and fire EMT as well, and they hop out and they rush over to the scene. And what do you tell him?
Oh, I mean, I can't really tell him much other than his basic vitals and how I'm trying to stabilize him, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, he's
fucking flipping shit.
Yeah, he's not like in any. He doesn't seem like he's gonna die or anything like that, right? I mean, but he seems like he would bash his head into the ground as
right. We tell him as soon as we turn loose of him, he's gonna be trying to injure himself.
Yeah, so basically they come with a backboard and they throw him on there and are able to restrain him with as many people there. It's not a problem. So they basically are able to secure his head so he doesn't do that while they're looking at his injury.
So are there like little holes in the glass like dividing me and that guy?
Yeah, there were. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Jacob just has some blood on his face still.
Yeah, nice.
And like,
oh my god, it must be dented in and shit like that. Holy fuck.
No, he was swinging at it. So yeah, he's definitely got some blood on him. And he's just sitting like leaned up against the tire of the cop car probably or something.
What like Ian just like he doesn't realize his hand is bloody, and he just like runs his hand through his hair, and he's like, holy shit, what the fuck? As like they're packing him away and shit.
Yeah, so Jerry's on his way to the hospital for psychiatric evaluation.
Yeah, so yeah, they take him to. They're telling you they're taking him to the real hospital first to get him checked out physically, and then they'll be admitting him. They'll probably be driving him actually to Denver to admit him into some sort of psychiatric hospital, since there's probably nothing here that would be suitable for him at this point.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. Like, holy shit. That's some crazy shit.
I just
Barbara
knew
just
I
kinda
wanted
looks-
him to finish that book.
Dude,
Barbara looks flat,
that didn't
yeah.
even cross my mind, really, because, like, I'm letting the irrationality get to me, seriously. Like,
Well, yeah,
getting-
Barbara looks
Well,
flatly at Ian, and this is why we go through procedure.
no.
Well, but-
I fucking knew it. I knew it. There's something going on here.
well, and what are the odds of that guy, who apparently is this picture, walking into that bar right now? Yeah, I'm with
Wait,
Ian.
and
There's
Barbara
something
looks at
peculiar here.
She looks at him. She's
Ian
like,
kind of, his mind
looks
clicks.
certainly very
and-
similar to him, but it just, to me, boss, I'm saying that this is still all circumstantial. We don't know. It looks similar. Yes,
He bought he had a fucking bus ticket. What?
Which you still have.
Jack, and he,
Where's the
like,
bus
Jack-
ticket? Is it a to
where's it
ticket or
from?
a from
Where's it
ticket?
from?
It says to the library, and it doesn't say anything else.
What the fuck? What the fuck is the library? It's not even a bus ticket.
Is it like an actual bus ticket, or is it like a
It
hand?
looks
drawn out of
like
Crown
an
Cap?
actual bus ticket. It's printed out. It looks like it could be a very legit bus ticket, except it says to the library across it. That's it.
Barbara, looking at that, she's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, Ian just like one of the rail guards that are nearby on the road. He just like kicks it, and then he's like, "God fucking damn it!"
The snows start to pick up. Are you going to try to do anything else tonight?
Oh no!
What you
It's Barbara's like, "No, we're going back to the station. I gotta let, what was her name? Maggie, Margaret? I can't remember her name.
Marge.
Marge. Yeah,
Oh,
we
God,
gotta let
what a
Marge
name.
know that we're not coming in with a guest after all."
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I bet it's a fucking quiet ride back to the station.
Yeah, it's like it's
But,
late.
like-
It's like 2 a.m. now at this point. If we're
Yeah,
not,
like-
probably even later.
But before we do that, like Ian reaches down to Jacob and he's like, offers a hand to him.
Jacob takes your hand.
He helps you up, and as they're getting ready to leave, and he's like, "You should stop riding in the bid seat and at least sit back here with me. I know what the fuck happened to that guy. What'd he do? Did he really just start beating his fucking head in?"
As soon
Yeah.
as he finished reading the book, his eyes just went like bloody, and then he slammed his face against the glass until you got it.
Oh yeah, the mesh. What the fuck?
Or the
Just
bed.
because he finished the book, right? The book, and he does like air quotes as we're driving, I guess, or getting ready to drive.
Yeah, and
That's what he
like,
saw.
and there is a legit, like, it is almost like he wasn't being. I mean, clearly you look at his head and you can see that he was being seriously smashing his head in there. But you look at the cop car and there is a skull-sized dent in that thing, in the divider.
What the fuck, Jack?
Yeah, Jack looks at
Barbara
that
kinda-
quizzically. He's never seen anything like that.
Yeah, Barbara's like, that's meant to stop bullets.
What the fuck, man? Ian just kind of like shuts the door after he gets in.
She would have taken Ian's statement as well on the whole matter, because she's very by the book when it comes to this kind of thing.
Ian gives
Not
you a
that
bunch
it
of
matters.
bullshit.
Well,
He doesn't
I mean,
actually
not Ian,
give you.
but
He doesn't actually
Ian
tell
and
you
Jacobs.
anything pertinent. Yeah, no, he like maybe Jacob tells you everything. Ian won't tell you shit about what's going on. Like he just makes up some shit that you know that didn't happen. He basically says nothing.
Yeah, but I meant Jacob, not Ian. Sorry. But yeah, does Jacob actually give a statement, or is it just kind of
Yeah, he
patchy
would.
here and there?
Pretty much all he would say is, "Dude, finished the book," and then went crazy.
Fucking love 18-year-olds.
She writes it down. Quote, dude went crazy, and then bashed
That
his
is
head.
perfect, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
we
can
need
tell that
to.
He doesn't really have much to say about it. Like he's pretty.
Maybe roll an investigation roll in this scene, guys, just to throw it out there. Like this
Well,
might
we
be
need
something
to-
where you could.
We need to go to the hospital and get Jerry's fingerprints before he vanishes. We need to.
You don't even have to do that. You could probably pull fingerprints off my face. Like literally, actually, you probably could.
No, you can go to the hospital. It's fine. So, anything you want to do, let me know before the next day. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's probably
if
actually
Jack
important.
suggests that, I mean, Ian's gonna go like, "Let's go now. Let's go like right now."
Jacob wants to go home, so he's gonna be like, just drop me off.
Yeah, well, we would certainly
Yeah.
do that. And then.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead,
Yeah,
Jim.
Ian asked for like Jacob's. Well, Jacob, he probably already has Jacob's contact information actually. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
most
you've got
likely.
everybody's number. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm probably gonna talk to you later, kid.
Sounds good.
And,
Let me know what goes on with that guy.
So, who has the book?
Yeah.
Is it back to Jack?
I don't know who took it from me, but I did.
I mean, I will gladly take that mother. Oh, I picked him up. So I mean, Ian's gonna keep that book unless it's asked back.
Oh, she's got an eidetic memory. She won't forget about the book.
Let's hope I can lie.
Okay, so things we want to do. We want his fingerprints. Then we want to run Jerry's fingerprints and the picture. And I guess we have to wait until the next day probably to check out the weird bus ticket.
Maybe get updates on Jerry as it goes, because I mean, this happened in his county. He has the authority for that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Until I mean, you could. I mean, they're only transporting him to another facility because there's not such a place here, and Denver isn't far enough away that they couldn't do it, right? So, but he probably won't leave until the next day, honestly. At least.
I know this is a bit much, but could I actually roll my occult skill?
If you want.
It's occult intelligence, or would it be occult wit?
Intelligence, I would say.
Okay.
Roll it again. One die. So you're not.
You don't have to give me anything really, but like, is this like registering on like anything I would kind of maybe pick up on, like anything supernatural at all, like?
Well, from your very, very limited understanding, you've heard of people going crazy before. There's people that have talked about people going crazy by, seeing something or doing something specific, or someone doing something specific to them or whatever. But it could just be, brain damage, right? Just somebody just being screwed up. Who knows? But definitely, it seemed like there was some sort of trigger like that. I mean, that seems fairly obvious, but
So I mean,
Yeah.
it just seems like that the book was the reason why he went ballistic,
as far
right?
as you
Is
can
that what I'm getting
tell,
from?
yeah. I mean, he
Jacob's
finished the
purely
book.
convinced.
He finished the book. Clearly, he was not acting in that way. He was acting violent only to get the book and to read it. Once he read it, he was not violent or anything like that before. And then when he finished the book, he started doing that to himself. He never tried to hurt you guys. He tried to hurt himself, perhaps, or maybe he was trying to get free. It's hard to say, but um,
Yeah. So like Ian probably actually says this shit out loud to you all, guys, like to you too, as like he's sitting in the back and he's like kind of working through the process out loud. He's like talking to himself, and it sounds like weird. It's like kind of out there. It's not like insane, right? Like conspiracy theory, but he's like mumbling some stuff to himself, and he's like, the book did that to him, and he says all of what just said out loud as you're driving to the station. He's like, oh no, and he just starts shaking his head, and he like looking through the photos that are back there, and for anything similar, like anything of note, if any writing is on the back of the photos, because they're Polaroids, yeah.
some are Polaroids, some are actually drawings, some are with nice film. It's just there's a whole like eclectic different kinds of photo, but most are Polaroids. There are some that are like ripped. There's some that there's one person and the other person's cut off by scissor. That kind of thing. Just all kinds of different stuff. There's even some
Yeah.
like drawings, art type of things in there.
Well, I mean, I guess other than like naming what we want to do, there isn't much to do in this scene. So,
Yep, we can
like,
move on.
just to make clear, you guys should make a list of stuff that you want to do, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were able to get his fingerprints. That's not a problem. He's at the hospital. He's in stable condition. They've had to sedate him, clearly with drugs, just because of his state, so they could take him off the restraint. They used a backboard, which is not really what it's meant to do. It's just meant to keep people from accidentally hurting themselves, not doing it on purpose. So they take him to the hospital. He's in the psych unit of the ER for a while. They assess his condition. They think he probably has a concussion, and he has like a good 60 stitches in his forehead.
what the fuck?
Multiple lacerations.
Yeah, multiple cuts, but the big one is like they have to do inside stitches and outside stitches. That's how deep and then he definitely has a broken orbital bone, broken nose from Ian.
Don't know how
probably.
that happened.
Yeah, they don't know, and they think that something. He might have injured his eyes because of just the bleeding out of the eyes and just the way they look and things like that. So, but yeah, and the plan is the local psychiatrist at the hospital is planning to transport him when he is able to Denver. But right now he's like, I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or the next day, but whenever he is physically able. And he's like, there should be tomorrow though. He's not like in any trauma that no significant trauma. They're gonna X-ray his neck, make sure he didn't hurt his neck, that sort of thing.
Actually, he's like completely sedated, like all the
Completely.
time, right? Or
Oh,
is he
yeah.
like lucid in any way, shape, or form?
He's not in a coma, but he can respond to verbal commands. It's like that kind of thing, right? They can say it's like I don't know what that drug is, but they give them for colonoscopies sometimes, where they can say roll over and you roll over, and you don't really remember it very well. Whatever that drug is, he can respond to
is he?
commands.
Yeah, no. I think Ian is gonna like the next day. Like
Okay.
he maybe mumbles something, and I know you probably have something planned, right? But he probably maybe mumbles something in the back of the car as they're driving towards the police station, right? He
Mhm.
says, "Barbara, I need the book."
And she kind of is tapping this notepad that looked empty at first, but is already like half filled because she's been basically writing notes the entire time. That's all she seems to do right now is take notes, and she's just like, I don't like it, but what the hell, I'll let you do it. But I've got this written down. I'm not going to forget about it. She kind of taps the notepad against the console. She's like, I'm going to want that back eventually.
Yeah, no, he just stays quiet and he says, yeah, no, you'll have it back. Jack, I might need your help tomorrow. I'm gonna see about going up to the hospital. I gotta speak to Jerry at least. I just got this itch in my brain. I'm gonna need your help.
Jack will agree to that. The other thing on Jack's mind, he would mention this to Ian probably, is, well, and we may want to go take a better look at that cave sometime.
I really don't want to go back there. He just says out loud and he's like, I didn't tell the kid what I actually saw. As they're rolling up to the sheriff's.
And Jack would raise an eyebrow and look at Ian. Oh yeah, what'd you see?
People, bodies, hanging from the stalagmites like nooses. People in coffins from the stalagmites, and he kind of shakes his head and he's like, yeah, no, I should be dreaming about flames and fire and all that other shit, but dead bodies fresh, some even still alive, dying, being hung, and even the fucking cave, hearing the kids, they're wailing. Like, it was almost surreal. It was like I was there every night since that damn cave, every fucking night.
Barbara kind of rubs the spot where the fire hitting her. She's like, yeah, it gets more and more weird every night. I don't remember much about the cave, but fire, that it's more strange every time.
Yeah, no. Sheriff, before we go get my bike, take me up to the hospital. I'm, like I said, I got an itch to scratch. This doesn't smell right to me. And he shuts the door and he you see him like in the city or in little whatever, and he's like, God, you don't mind if I use your phone, do you? I don't have a ride home.
Oh, we'll get you home.
That's not a big deal. I got somebody in town that'll come pick me up.
Sure, if you help yourself to the phone.
Yeah, he walks in and uses like the desk phone. And dials, you know who.
Yeah. So you walk in and Marge is sitting there and she looks. She has a hairnet on. So
don't forget, I have like bloody hair and like bruised face and like.
So basically, what happens is like when you call the county sheriff, it like dials her phone, right? Just forwards to her phone. So she came over and she's like not in a muumuu, but basically like pajamas, and she's probably about 60 years old. She's not fat or anything, but she's got her hairnet on, and she's like, hello Ian, and she like kind of like puts the phone up on the counter and lets him. She's like, you look like hell.
And he like raises an eyebrow at her and like it's like, there's something wrong with me? And he like it was like actually worried. He's like looking around at his like clothes and he like looks down at his shirt that's like covered in blood and he's like,
she says, did you get red highlights? And she kind of like giggles as you have like blood in your hair. It makes your hair look darker, but she's been around enough to know kind of what blood is.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And he like runs, he's like, you never forget some shit you do. No, I'm sure Jack will tell you. We had some freak bash his head in. You should see it. In fact, go outside. The cop car's outside.
And she's like, "It's cold out there," and she like takes her cup of. She has a cup of coffee and she takes a drink and she like peeks up and she has this little shooter of like whiskey and she like puts it in the coffee and takes a drink again.
It's gonna kill
Running
you,
a tight
Marge.
ship.
Yeah, tight, all right.
Yeah. All right. So we're done for the night. Ian gets his ride. If it was a well, it's not a Prius. Let's see. What kind of car would it be? It's a Ford Probe.
Geo
Comes and
Metro.
picks him up. Yeah. No, it's like an early. No, here's what it is. It's an early model Honda Civic. Pulls up, and
Jack's standing outside, and this is when
Yeah.
Barbara probably sees her for the first time, or see this car, and he just has this like what the fuck look on his face.
this girl comes and picks him up, and she rolls down the window, and she's like, "Oh, you look sexy." And obviously he's covered in blood and all that sort of thing.
He just has like a disgruntled look on his face when it's a Honda Civic. He forgot what car she had. Just like, the kid getting picked up from school.
Right, at an Astrovan or something.
And he just gets in and shuts the door, and like he's bloody and everything, and just gets all over her seat.
Jack looks at the Civic and thinks, in cop school, that it told me to pull that over and search it for pot.
Yeah, like on that very note, Barbara just like rolls something in her pocket. She's like, I'll be around, boss. And she like goes out back even though it's cold out and lights that joint that she kind of snuck out earlier.
God, Law and Order right here
Weird fucking day.
in the 90s. All right, so the night passes. You each dream again. The exact same dream doesn't change. So your nights are rough. You don't get much sleep tonight, no matter how much you drank. And so yeah. So starting with Jacob, the next day is here. It is a Saturday. Jacob doesn't have to work today. What are you going to do, Jacob? What are you planning on doing?
He probably would have contacted his uncle or whatever.
All right, perfect.
Tried to set up like maybe a shooting hangout. Probably talk about what happened, whatnot.
Yeah, hold on one second. All right. So you call, and a couple rings, and hello, and it's obviously the voice of your uncle, John.
Hey, John, it's Jacob.
Hey, Jacob, how are you doing today?
Not so good, really. Some crazy shit happened last night. Kind of was hoping we could hang out.
Crazy shit, huh? Like what?
Like a guy crushing his skull against the cop car's window in front of my face.
And the phone is kind of, there's not, he doesn't say anything for a while, and he's like, really? He's like, huh? He's like, well, I tell you what, Miranda's gonna make dinner tonight. Why don't you come over and invite some of your friends?
Like, I can do that. That sounds great.
He's like, all right. He's like, she'll have some good stuff out here. And he's like, are you okay, son?
I don't know, Uncle. Or John, I guess. I don't know.
He's like, all right, well, take it easy today. Play some video games or something, whatever you kids do. And he kind of laughs, and he's like, I'll see you tonight. Come around about 7.
We'll be there.
All right. All right, we'll move over to Barb. What are you doing today?
She woke up a little bit late, and then she actually goes to the what would be like a fairly new computer for her. It's like an ancient computer.
There
for
are no
us,
computers.
Cranks up Windows.
There are no
there's not a
There wouldn't be Windows in 1994. Okay, there is one computer in the whole station. Windows 3.1.
No, Windows 3. Yeah, it exists. It exists.
Yeah,
Straight up.
you're right. And you like load it up, and it's that white screen with the shitty desktop icons for Windows 3.1.
Oh my fucking god. Fucking halt and catch fire. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, she's just like, technology is so advanced now. Tries to
Blue
run
screen.
the
No, I'm just
fingerprints to.
This is so much better than DOS.
Yeah.
I used to love DOS.
She just gets
Anyway.
a blue screen, and you hear like Jack hears from like down the hallway some string of obscenities, and she's just like, "Hold on, I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way." And she starts going through some computer made in the '70s that compares fingerprints and whatnot.
Yeah.
The Uniblab.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, she takes a sip of some of that coffee, and she's like, "Oh my god, she can't make coffee for hell."
Yeah.
Makes coffee like a Russian soldier.
Yeah. Marge walks in, and walks to the coffee pot, and she's like, "Oh, I think I forgot to brew some more last night." And she's like, "I'll be taking this." And she takes the coffee pot and pours what's left in her mug and walks out and doesn't brew anymore for you.
What a character. What a fucking character.
And so you run the fingerprints, and it takes you several hours because this is 1994, and it takes you several hours, and you're just looking at your county fingerprints that you have access to here. If you wanted state fingerprints, you'd have to send them to Denver, and of course, if you wanted national fingerprints, you probably have to send them to the FBI or something. So you're looking.
For now, we're gonna start off small.
Yeah, in the county, nothing comes up. There's no matches.
And
Not
she
at all.
kind of goes up to Jack. She's like, "Boss, this doesn't show up at all on our databases. We're gonna have to send them out to Colorado."
Jack considers telling her to go ahead and just send it straight to the feds, but we'll check the state first.
You'll never get those fucking fingerprints
and
back.
By the way, she'd be in her uniform because she basically, if she's not physically, going to a bar where doesn't need, shouldn't be in a uniform kind of thing.
That's fine. So yeah, it's going to take.
She basically works 24/7.
Yeah, you talk to someone in the Denver office, and the state office really in Denver, and they're like, "Yeah, we're pretty backlogged. It's going to take at least a couple weeks to get back to you. You can send them over fax, and we'll get them into our database."
Yeah, and she just sighs, and you hear the traditional dial-up tone in the background of the internet cranking up.
Oh god.
As the fax goes
Sounds like
through.
an Atari car crash.
Yeah. All right. So there's so you send it off to Denver. It's going to take a couple weeks probably. Jack, you have anything you're going to do?
Probably.
Specific?
Well,
It'll probably take that long just to send it.
a couple of minutes before the alarm goes off, Jack's eyes open, his hand reaches over and slaps the top of the clock. Same hand grabs the hat, and as he sits up, the hat is put on the head. And then he climbs out of bed, goes about getting ready for this day, fixes breakfast, keeps thinking about the weird bus ticket. And so after he fixes himself something to eat, he'll get in the car, drive to Greyhound Trailways, whatever flavor bus terminal we have in the county, and go find somebody in the ticketing.
Yeah, so there's a fairly sizable Greyhound station here, from mostly for vacationers who fly into Denver, don't want to drive, they take a bus down here, whatever. So yeah, you head up to the ticketing office. It's open, and a young man, looks like he's probably in high school. It's the weekend, and he's like, "Oh, hi, Sheriff. How can I help you today?"
Well, I'm hoping you can shed a little light on this. Jack fishes the ticket out of his coat pocket and slides it across the counter.
And he looks at it and kind of scrunches his face off or up a little confused, and he's like, no, I don't think this is one of ours. And he's really just confused.
And so, is there some branding on this ticket? Is there?
He like looks at it and turns it over, expecting some fine print on the back, which there usually are on bus tickets. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, it looks like it would be a standard bus ticket, but this is pretty blank. I wonder if somebody took a blank one and just made it as some sort of, I don't know." And he just kind of shrugs. He's like, they print out from our system here, and he like pats it, and it's this little like obnoxious like breadbasket looking kind of
dot
device.
matrix thing.
Yeah. And he kind of just like shrugs. He's like, "Sorry, Sheriff, I don't know anything about that."
And so Jack will take the ticket back and thank the young man. Go on his way. Go on into the office and have the scene we just had with him and Barb.
Yep. Alright, Ian, you're up.
Ian probably. He's been like. He's went on like kind of like full like 24 hours on a post kind of like schedule. He like flipped on his old Marine Corps training, and his brain's in like a different world, and so he doesn't really sleep. Like he doesn't go back home to the fire tower. Obviously, he just gets driven back home to shower and be in the city. Actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he changes into some of his clothes, and he just like walks out really early in the morning, probably about like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's obviously showered and shaved and stuff like, or not even shaved. He just walked out with the book in hand. Nothing really changed, unless she would have been awake as well the whole time.
Sydney, you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
No, she fell asleep.
Yeah, he's definitely out the door at like something like really fucking crazy at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and obviously he shuts and locks the door and all that shit. But like he hoofs it to the station or catches a ride with somebody.
Yeah, so you're able to. It's not that far. You walk probably 6 blocks over to the station, and it's. You walk in, and so if you're there that early, nobody's there yet. Not well, at least the sheriff and Barb are not in the front. Neither is Marge. It's some other police officer manning the desk.
Yeah, I just give a wave as I sit down in the waiting room.
Yeah. So you wait, and basically when the guy looks at you, and he's just like shrugs, and he's like, "Are you waiting for someone specific?"
Yeah, the sheriff.
He's like, "Okay." But not long after, everybody is up and about in that area. So the sheriff comes in, Barb comes up from her accommodations in the back of the building, whatnot. So you're present when they, or maybe not exactly present, but you're in the vicinity when they're sending off the fingerprints and whatnot.
Yeah, and he like looks at you. He just like walks into the room after you guys come in and have been doing stuff, and he like knocks on the door, rasps his hand, says, "We golden on that hospital trip."
Yeah, it's going to be at least 2 or 3 weeks before we find out anything about those fingerprints. Doesn't look like the boss was too happy from his trip dealing with the Greyhound station. Last time we went there, the kid seemed pretty spaced out to me. Probably drunk, wasn't sure. It was pretty early in the morning.
Yeah, and he like looks at you two, and he's like, you can tell he's got bags underneath his eyes, but he's like wired. It looks like he's like, where's he located, Jack?
They've got him here at, I can't remember what the name of the local hospital was, but anyway, he's in the psychiatric ward at the local hospital.
So as you're, pause. You guys 1 second. Jacob, what are you going to do after you talk?
Oh no, I was gonna solve that problem actually.
Okay,
Like
go
right,
ahead.
like
Go ahead.
we come back to us, and he goes over. He's like, we're gonna need Jacob for this. He was the last person he talked to.
Jack's a little hesitant about
Barbara.
doing that to Jacob, but Ian could probably
Yeah.
convince him.
Yeah, Barbara.
Listen, I
was
know
like,
it's gonna
"No,
sound
we're not
strange,
gonna-"
but you need to listen to me. It just give me this one time. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Just listen to me, all right?
Ian, you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot for this poor kid.
Well, if you don't do it,
I
I'm
mean-
gonna do it.
Listen. I'm not gonna stop you, but if this goes south, we're gonna be looking at you. This is against everything that's by the book. You don't bring a victim to.
This isn't by the book, Barbara. Do you not understand this? Like, did you not see the shit that I saw last night? Were you not there? Did you not see what that man did to himself? Men don't do that to themselves. They can't.
I think that there's a lot of things that human beings are capable of. I've seen plenty of videos where people high on drugs have done some things of similar effect. It's you
Yeah,
don't
well, I've
know
actually
what a
fucking
human being
killed
is
people
capable
like
of
that.
until they do it. So then you should know as well as anybody else. It could just very well be anything. It could just
No,
It is what it is.
not like that. They'd be constantly wired. Like I said, I'll show you. I'll show you exactly what is happening. There's something's going on here. And he just shakes his head and he's like, I know this sounds really messed up, Jack, but and I know it's far-fetched. It just, you need to trust me on this. I've been right before, wasn't I?
Yeah. Again, Jack is hesitant, but he'll finally agree. All right.
And like he's like, I know you all think I'm paranoid, but you got to understand, the worst part about paranoia is you only have to be right once.
Barbara just sighs and she's like, this is gonna turn into a shit show. I know it, and I'm gonna have to be the one.
Yeah, and he goes over to like the nearest phone, and he just like, it's like one of those little like finger dial phones from like the 60s
Rotary.
or like the 20s.
Oh,
And like
no.
it's made to look like it actually. So like he dials Jacob's number, and this is like immediately after he gets off the phone with his uncle.
So,
Bring
Jacob answers the phone.
Jacob.
Yeah. Who's this?
Where are you right now?
Home.
Good. It's like get dressed.
Why? What's going on?
I'll talk to you about it later. And he hangs up. Just like Ian just like looks at the two and is like, you done here? Let's go.
Barbara just kind of stares at Jack in that kind of what the hell is going on kind of stare, kind of like, why are we entertaining this batch of crazy this early in the morning look.
So it's like, you know, about 9 o'clock, and Marge is like walk. She waves as you leave, and she's like, "Have a great day."
Marge, why are you awake? he just like shakes his head as he like pushes past the door and is just like,
And she's just like, "Ugh, you only know the half of it. You haven't seen the moo moo."
oh, she has a moo-moo, and he gets in the back of a brand new state sheriff's car.
All right, where are you guys going?
And
Pick up Jacob.
Oh,
Gonna go pick up Jacob.
You drive over to Jacob's place.
Yeah, drive over to Jacob's place with the light. And like when you get in the driveway, he said Ian kind of pipes on or rasps on the divider, and he's like, "Hey, turn the lights on and the sirens."
actually, Barb would have driven it, and she's like, for the first time, you said something that wasn't batshit crazy. She turns on the light, and she's like, "Jacob, so and so, I need you to come outside with their hands up." She
Jacob.
at first, Jack was gonna
what'd
object,
you-
but now he's laughing about that.
So I guess Jacob comes out to the porch and he's just like, kind of hands in the air. Not hands in the air, but like.
Jacob walks outside. He's like, "Shit, now I'm never gonna get a date."
Does Jacob's parents just like freak out or some shit? Come on out, my baby.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that.
You might live by yourself. That's fine. You're 18 plus. You're out of high school.
Yeah, I live on my own. They just pay for it.
Yeah.
this is ski town.
Ian just kind of like rasp on the window. He's like, or the divider, and says, "We're gonna let him in, or just keep him in suspense like this."
She's like, "Yeah, might as well. You might need a new pair of pants after all."
Yeah, and the door will open if it's not automatically locked.
Well, it's automatically locked, but she would have let you out.
I don't need to get out. Just open the door and let Jacob in.
Okay.
All right. So you guys.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah, go
Jacob gets in.
All right. So you all climb aboard a different car from last night. That car is being tended to.
Fumigated.
Yeah, fumigated and fixed.
So, I should probably add. As soon as I get in, I'll inform them that I have a dinner to go to at 7. You're all welcome to come, but whatever we're doing, I better be done by then. I kind of need it.
Yeah. You'll be done by then, hopefully. Anyway, we'll get you out of there before then. Look, you were the last person, and like Ian's like reaching in his back, inside of his coat, and he reaches in and grabs something. And he pulls the book out and hands it to him. He's like, "Look, you're the last person he spoke to. He's probably going to be attached to your voice. I know that sounds weird, but just go with it for now. You need to. You're going to have to ask him some questions for me, okay?"
Jacob pretty much just hits the book out of your hand and says, "That's not gonna happen."
Jacob, listen. I knew you were gonna do this. All you have to do is ask him some
Jacob
questions.
tries to get out of the car.
You cannot because it's
I know,
obviously
I know,
locked. But yeah.
I know.
So
But he's
you
trying frantically.
So you're trying to get
I
open
mean,
and it doesn't.
Ian wouldn't have said that until they were like more than
Right?
halfway
No,
there.
they're like, yeah. Even if they're driving, he's like, "This is bullshit. Like, I don't want to do this. Get me out of here."
Jacob, listen. I know you don't like it. That's not a cool thing to go through. But if there's more like him and we can help, we need to. Okay? Like I need you to talk to him.
So,
You don't even have to look at him. You just need to answer the
As soon
question.
as
To,
he
like talk.
says, that there might be other people we need to help, Jacob kind of like hangs his head and he's like, "I guess maybe you're right. There might be other
You
people."
don't even need to look at him. All you need to do is just talk to him. Show him the book, starting over from the beginning. Ask him what's on the page. Ask him all kinds of shit like that. I mean, hell, I would do it myself if I thought it would work, but I doubt it'll work. This is just, like I said, and he like says this to all of them in the car, and he's like, "You only have to be right once." And I don't know about you, but that motherfucker read a blank book last night.
All right, I'll do it. He says it, but like he sounds super defeated.
Barbara looks in the back of her mirror and stares daggers at Ian as she drives him to the hospital.
Yeah, no, Ian doesn't even pay attention to that. He's like rifling through the pictures, and like he's got the other picture like in God, what was his name? I don't even remember his name.
Jerry?
Yeah, Jerry's picture, and he's like flipping through the book, and like he remembers the page that it was on, and he's just like, "Oh God, what?" All right.
So you pull up to the hospital. There's a certain section for the psych part of it. It's not a ward so much as just where it's kind of quarantined off. There's actually more security there, that sort of thing. You head in. Good.
Well, I was gonna say before that, Barbara kind of pulls Ian to the side and she's like, "You're a bastard for doing this to him."
Yeah, and I don't give a shit what you think of me. All right, I know I'm right. I know I'm right.
And if this doesn't pan out, I'm gonna be gunning for you. So you better hope that this kid has something come for it, or else we're gonna have an issue. And then she just walks off without another word.
Yeah, he just kind of fixes his jacket and walks in.
So you walk down this main hallway, and the nurse's station points you into the correct direction. However, you are stopped by some hospital staff, and it's a woman. She's got like rim wire glasses, kind of. Definitely a professional, probably maybe a doctor. You're not sure. And she's like, "Sheriff, heard about what happened to John Doe here. What can I do for you? I think you got the fingerprints. I'm not sure he's going to be responsive to anything today."
Yeah, Ian just kind of says like, "When did you last give him something to keep him down?"
And she looks at Ian, and she does not know who he is. And she's like, "Sheriff?"
Yeah, we were hoping we could try and get a little information from him. We're having a hard time figuring out who he is.
And she's like, "Yeah, it's not surprising. A lot of psychiatric patients end up homeless, and you'd never know who they are." And she just kind of like shrugs a little bit, and she's like, he's under heavy sedation. He's not gonna really be able to answer your questions, with any sort of mental, response. I mean, he can follow commands, which he doesn't, but a normal person on the drug that they're on, I can tell them to roll over, they'll roll over. I can tell them to lift their arm, they'll lift their arm, but he is completely unresponsive. In fact, he's just laying there, and she just kind of shakes her head. She's like, "I could bring him off the medication, but at this point, we would have to obviously secure him. I don't know if that's a great idea to do." And she kind of like rubs her chin.
So prior to you guys sedating him, have you performed any sort of tox screen? Was he on anything last night?
She nods. She's like, "Yeah, tox screen was completed. He had no drugs in his system whatsoever, which is surprising," she says.
Jack kind of half mutters, "Yeah, you should see what he did to a cop car with his head."
And she's like, "I see his head. I can believe it."
Yeah, Ian's like left eyebrow kind of twitches, and his like you can see his like upper lip kind of move upwards just a little bit as he like kind of just like is trying to look past the lady.
The door is shut, but it has one of those kind of like small square windows, and you can basically see part of the bed, but the drape is kind of drawn. You can't really see Jerry from here. And she looks at the sheriff. She's like, I mean, you're free to go. And she's like, shakes her head, and she's like, I don't know, Sheriff. I really don't know what this visit will do. If you have any questions for me, I can answer them. And she doesn't look particularly.
Oh yeah, when she says you're free to go, I mean, Ian just kind of like walks past her.
And she kind of turns and like puts her hand in front of the door, and she's like, "Sir, you are not free to go in regardless." And she kind of just like looks at you and kind of like stares at you, up at you.
It's like a new deputy. That's all he says, and he's waiting for her to move her hand.
And she looks at the sheriff, and if you want to have her let you go in, you're going to have to roll some stuff. So whoever's doing the convincing, which is pretty much got to be the sheriff, you need to roll pretty much, you can roll either presence, manipulation, and some sort of skill that would correspond with that. Persuasion, intimidation, depending on how you role play it, that kind of thing. So you let me know what you want to do.
Okay. We will. Let's see. We will go with persuasion.
Don't forget you have your badge as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we'll go persuasion.
You get a +3 to the applicable rolls. If that would count, 10.
Yeah, it should. So let's see. Give me 2 seconds here.
Oh shit, how are we gonna get Jacob into this? Fucking... See, you gotta be paranoid to be a hunter, guys. Like...
I'm just playing the character how I would exactly.
Oh, I love how Barbara is.
Yeah,
No, you're doing great.
Barbara's perfect.
It's exactly how I expect some bookworm stick up in the ass, like, pretty girl. Like...
Oh, she has empathy. I mean, she really doesn't want Jacob to be in this.
Yeah, Jacob's just kind of like way off in the back, hoping we can't get in.
Give me 2 seconds, guys.
I mean, if it were up to her, she'd take him to Chuck E. Cheese.
Jacob just wants to go eat dinner with his uncle.
And forget about Jerry.
Forget about fucking Jerry, bro.
Nah, Jerry is bae. I don't know what
Even
you're talking
player
about.
me wants to forget about Jerry.
Alright, go ahead and I'm trying to look at something about contested roles here. Oh, here we go. Actually, go ahead. You're gonna roll against her her resolve. So whatever your roll is, -2, or 2 less dice.
Okay, so the attribute for this, I'm guessing, was presence?
Whichever. Yeah, probably presence. Yeah. So,
Okay, so
that looks
3
like
presence.
5, right?
Right.
So you're
And
gonna
then
roll.
add 3.
Yep. So 8 -2, so you're gonna roll 6 die.
So contested rolls are just
Well,
negatives on the...
I mean, not necessarily. That's the way I'm gonna do it on this one, but I need to look it up. I just didn't want to spend more time.
And the badge is +3?
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
it would be +3, and that's 3 dice, because anything that gives you applicative or
right.
numerical dice, it always adds to your dice pool unless it specifies to something else.
Yeah.
So like a weapon damage, right? I would do, with say for brass knuckles, I would do 1 plus my strength damage, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Just roll
I'm adding-
6 die is what you need to roll.
And this session's going good. I like it.
Okay. So you. What do you say to convince her? You do convince her, but.
I just tell her that we want to go in and take a look at him. We're concerned about the fella. It was, man, you should have seen it. I've been in this business a long time, and I've just never seen anybody trying so hard to hurt themselves.
Maybe play up the fact that he was mentally handicapped and he needed a ride. She doesn't know the full story, right?
Right, but anyway, I play up the
Yeah.
we're concerned about this guy. We just want to.
And she's like, okay, just don't get him riled up. He shouldn't be able to really do that anyway. He's completely sedated, but just don't make a scene. Don't get him riled up. He needs rest before he's transported.
Well, of course, we're like I said, we're just concerned about that.
And she pulls her arm away and doesn't really notice Jacob as being not another deputy, so she kind of lets you all pass there.
Yeah, Ian's like first at the door.
You hustle through. So it's a very, very standard kind of hospital room. It's got a circular drape that's kind of pulled halfway around. You see Jerry laying there in a gown. He is lashed down from his wrists and ankles by restraints. He has an IV in, and yeah, and his eyes are open.
About the smell.
His no, they actually probably cleaned him up. He's laying there. His eyes are open. It doesn't really look at you when you come in.
Yeah, I think Ian's like looking around at like the IV drip and trying to see what medical, like, basically to put him under what they're using, and like looking around the room, and he pulls out the photo and he starts like flicking the photo in front of his eyes just to see if he's even responsive.
So you kind of swing the photo over, and he does, his eyes like shift and look at you. Is it a picture of himself?
Yeah, it is the picture of himself.
So he looks out, and he just kind of gives you this like little half smile.
Jerry, I think Ian just says, as he makes sure that he's like there, lucid in any way, shape, or form. Jerry, can you hear me?
Doesn't respond to that.
Does his eyes move? Do they do anything?
He's looking at you as you speak, on and off.
It's like,
Are his eyes still nasty looking, or are they like? Sorry.
No, he looks. Besides, he's got a huge bandage on his forehead. He looks fine other than that.
do you remember the library, Jerry?
He doesn't respond to that.
And he puts his hand to his head, and he shakes his head, and he's like, Jacob, do you mind? Hand me the book really quick.
Jacob hands Ian the book.
It's like,
Jack slips over and just kind of looking out the little window.
Jack, do you mind actually looking at him? I don't want to check him, and you're the actual cop here, but check him for tattoos, anything, barcodes, some shit.
Jack will move away from the door. Come give Jerry the once over.
Yeah, you look over and he does have a tattoo. It's like an old tribal band tattoo, that were popular in those days.
Oh God.
There's nothing that is like strange or anything like that.
Jacob, do you mind like talking to him like you did last night with the book?
I mean, I didn't even talk to him. I just flipped some pages in the book, and when it got to the end, he freaked out.
Yeah. I mean,
he's got a candy bar in his mouth.
Jack, do you have the ticket?
Yeah, Jack fishes the ticket out of his pocket.
Yeah, and Ian will like not forcefully ask for it, but he like reaches out a hand for it, and he's like, "Is Jerry still looking at me?"
Mm-hmm.
He brings up the ticket and he puts it next to the photo in front of his eye, and he's like, "This is yours." Yes.
And he kind of just says, "Jerry took the bus."
Jerry, where did this bus come from? Do you know where it came from?
Jerry took the bus.
He says, Jerry, do you want to read the book? Can you read the book to me?
Jerry wants
I
to
can't see
read. Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read.
Yeah, I mean, he can't really yell right now, can he?
He's not yelling, but he's definitely a lot louder than he was before answering the questions.
Yeah,
It's like normal conversation,
Oh yeah, Ian looks over at Jack and he's like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Jerry, I can't see. Can you read me the book?
Jerry wants to read. He just
will you read to me?
Jerry wants to read.
I will let you read.
Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read.
It's like, did someone give you the book, or let you know of the book? Who did someone? And he starts like rifling through the pictures of like, did someone read the book to you? Have you seen the book before? Have you read before? He's just rattling all kinds of questions. He's like, Jacob, ask him the questions.
So Jacob will just repeat really fast, pretty much the same questions.
He doesn't really give you any answer. He just keeps repeating, Jerry wants to read. And you notice that his pitch is getting higher and higher. And
yeah, no, I mean,
his hands are like, even though they're like clenching into fists, and he's getting agitated, clearly.
Okay, Jack tells Barb to ride herd on this and slips out and goes and finds Nurse Cratchit and starts talking to her about procedure for transport of psychiatric patients to Denver.
Okay, so you walk out there and you're going out there to kind of delay her, and you start talking to her while they
talk some good old smack into trying to get into some nice relationships, quote unquote, with the doctor there.
Yeah. So you find
flash the cop badge and
you find the doctor and you start talking to her as you guys keep talking to Jerry.
Yeah, he Ian's like, all right, Jerry, here's the book, and he shows him the front.
When you show him the front, his eyes get huge and he starts kind of like shaking a little bit. Nothing is, and he's just, Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read. And you notice like next to him his like heart monitor, like his blood pressure is getting higher and higher and higher, and it's going beep, beep, and of course everybody knows that the nurse's station can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a second where like Ian looks at it for a second and he like looks at himself and he's like runs over to where the fingertip thing is and he puts it on himself really quick. Like he snaps it on and puts it on himself.
Okay. So yeah, you do that, and it goes down, but not too much because you're excited. No, it goes down enough where it's normal, right? And yeah, but he's freaking out now, or well,
Barbara's just
getting
shaking her head
excited.
at the craziness of this all.
I think we're
Jerry.
committing a felony at this point.
I mean,
Yeah,
like Ian,
that's the point.
like here's the
Let's
thing.
leave it to the civilian to point that.
No, she knows we're committing a felony. It's just this is her boss's call, and she's not gonna.
I'm not sure this
Go
is a
over
felony,
Jack's head.
but
No, Ian will
I
put
don't
it
think
on.
it's a felony, but it's a pretty rotten thing to do.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
it's
like,
definitely violating some codes.
it's like, Jerry, and he looks over, or Ian looks over at Jacob, and he's like, all right, I need you to cycle through all the photos as I flip the pages for him, okay?
I don't think I can do that.
Jacob, please.
This
If he
dude,
knows-
this dude is gonna go crazy again, and we don't have anything to restrain him with. He's gonna jump out that window. He's gonna slam his
he's
head on the
restrained.
floor.
He is restrained, so
Oh,
yeah,
Well,
his
he's
arms
also,
and
like-
legs are restrained, and he's drugged.
He's like super drugged. He shouldn't be like a threat to anyone right now.
so yeah, I guess Jacob will come over there, and he's gonna stand as far away as he can to still be able to show him the photos.
So you're like got the arm like reached out like all the way.
Yeah, I'll even stand on a chair somewhere if I can be further away.
And he'll open up the first page and like show it to him.
He stops talking. He just starts like his head keeps going back and forth as he's reading something.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like flip the first page and then flip it back to the beginning page.
He just keeps reading.
So he just like rereads the first page.
Mhm, yep.
It's like, Jerry, can you read it to me?
He doesn't respond. He doesn't look at you. Looks at the book. Keeps going until at the end of the page, and then he's like, Jerry wants to read. Jerry wants to read. And it starts going that when you.
And I continue flipping through like back and forth through pages just so he can like I continue
Doesn't
just
freak
rattling
out.
off questions like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do the pages say anything? Do they show you anything? Is this book a library? Are you reading a library? Is this...
He does not respond to any of your questions.
God damn it. And he like... He looks over at Barbara and like... It's like, make sure I know when he's coming, okay? Look, Barbara, I'll buy you all the alcohol you want. Just do this for me, okay? All the nachos. All right.
You see basically the second coming of hell through her eyes, but she's like a lifetime supply of nachos and a lifetime supply of alcohol. She just kind of stands outside the door.
Sounds like you should just offer the bag of reefer you confiscated off those lost skiers.
Yeah, and Ian's gonna look around for like a mobile nurse's station.
Like with what in it? What are you looking for specifically?
Like the drips there, yeah.
He wants the shock things.
There's no meds. There's no meds available.
I mean, he should be on a drip, right?
He is on a drip, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ian's gonna let it rip for a second.
You're actually
Get this guy.
you're actually gonna turn it on full blast.
Just for like half a second. It shouldn't kill him. It's not gonna kill. I'm not gonna do anything to kill him, right?
Is Ian a doctor?
He's a medical technician
Oh,
that
yeah.
can save people's lives. So
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So you let
He'd
it
have
blast for
knowledge.
like half a second there, and he kind of
this
his
guy's gonna
eyes
get fucked
goes
up.
his eyes just close after like a minute or two.
Jerry, can you read the book? I know you're still there, Jerry. I know you can hear me. The book's open. Read the book to me.
His eyes remain closed.
There isn't like a nurse's station with like, actually, Ian just shuts the book and shakes his head. And just says, yeah, no, we're not gonna get anything out of him. Sorry, Jacob.
Hey,
And
that
he
works
just
for me.
he actually just like puts the book in Jerry's hand, or puts it down on the table, and like lets it touch his hand for a second as he sits there.
Let it touch Jerry's hand.
Mm-hmm.
So as you do that, nothing happens, and then you pull it away, and like something falls out of the book. It looks like a little handwritten thing, like on a torn off piece of paper.
Yeah, like maybe Ian doesn't even notice it right away, but he hears the paper rustle as he like gets to step on the corner, and he like looks at like Jacob like really quietly, because Jacob, do you see this fall out? Just, like,
I mean, I'd
fall
be
out of it.
standing right there, so I probably would have been watching. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've went through every page, right? And there's no way that
Yeah.
there should be a piece of paper in there.
So Jacob will see it fall and grab it.
Jacob, what the fuck was that?
I don't know. It fell out of the book. And then he'll look at it.
No.
He-
There was
so-
nothing in the book.
He brings it up and looks at it, and it reads, "I'm going to write you out of existence, motherfucker."
So Jacob sees that and just doesn't say anything, doesn't drop it, doesn't do anything. Just like his eyes go, I don't know, completely blank, and he just like it just starts to shake in his hand.
Yeah, I think Ian will grab it and look at it. What does it say?
Same thing.
It's like, what the fuck? And he like looks down at
He's
Jerry, and he's like,
Yeah.
he looks down at Jerry and like he puts it back in his hand for a second, like forcefully, and he's holding it.
Hold on one second, guys. Can I don't know if Rob can hear us.
Yeah, it's back now.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have any idea of what happened for about
Oh,
a minute there.
Oh,
shit.
dude, it's something
Okay.
fucking crazy
God
just
damn
happened.
it! You missed the best part.
Okay, so you guys can. Well, he doesn't know.
No,
Oh,
I
that's
like
true.
it.
I'm not there. That's
so
true.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Like Ian just Barbara's still in this room, isn't she? Ian just kind of puts the book back in his hand.
Yeah, but she turned away to not look at what you're doing. But you know.
Yeah,
you can
Ian's
still
just like,
feel
Barbara,
her
Barbara, get
range.
over here right now. Barbara, get over here right now.
And she just looks down at it and looks it up at you and just like, what? What is it? It's a piece of paper.
This fell out of the fucking book after Jerry touched it. You know well as I do that there was nothing in that fucking book.
It could have been something that
No,
he
it
found or
couldn't.
something.
He's been in a hospital. He only touched the lid of the book. He didn't open it. We were just sitting here rifling through the pages. It would have fell out. I've been looking at the book for hours. There was nothing in there.
And she just kind of sighs, you know. Whatever, boss, come in here. She kind of, raises her voice enough.
Yeah, and Ian's just looking at the book and the page, and he's like, holy shit.
So Jack kind of gratefully extricates himself from the doctor and
The
makes his way back
details
to the
of
room.
Driving for 2 hours.
What is it?
Yeah,
you got,
and
Barb?
Ian hands, like, doesn't even wait for Barb to put it. Ian just hands you the paper and hands you the book as well. And he, like, looks over at Jacob, who's, like, still probably catatonic almost. He's like,
Yeah, he's just shaking his head at this point.
Okay, so what does it say?
The note says, "I'm gonna write you out of existence, motherfucker." Written in all like caps. Handwritten.
Barbara she's just like, this is crazy. I don't.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know
Ian looks
what
at you,
this is.
Jack, and he's like, "That fell out of the book after Jerry touched it." Now, I know, I'm fucking. I might seem batshit to you, but that book had nothing in it, and fucking Jacob is my goddamn witness.
Well, Jack has looked at the book enough times that he's relatively sure that there wasn't anything in it.
And he smiled again at his fucking picture. He even spoke to us. Jacob, and he like kind of like slaps Jacob's shoulder. He's like, "Back me up here, man. You saw the same shit I did, didn't you?"
He nods and just says, "Something's not. This isn't right. This isn't right."
Fucking God. Something's afoot here, and I don't like it. We need to go back to the cave.
Jacob just screams, "Hell no!" at the thought of going back to the.
Yeah, no. Well, Barbara says hell no at the same time, not screaming it, but they're like, hell no. You know, she's like, I'm not going on that mountain again.
I don't need you to go back to the fucking cave. I know exactly where it is, all right? I just... Something isn't right here. It's like, we're not going to get anything out of Jerry. I might have possibly drugged him.
Might have possibly.
Just wanted to watch him die.
Wait, what?
Slurmed him. Just slurmed him.
You see kind of like a handbook come out of her pouch and her belt. She's like, would you care to repeat that?
Yeah, you blonde-haired bitch. I said I drugged him.
And at this point, Jack is herding the three of them out of the room.
Yeah, as you're like standing there, kind of getting ready to argue, the doctor walks back in and she's like, "You're done, right?" And she looks over at Jerry, who is asleep, and she doesn't really mind that. And she's like, "I think it's time for you guys to go."
And yeah, Jack has already herding everybody towards the door.
Yeah, she keeps whispering to Jack. She's like, "Let me arrest this fucker. Let me arrest him. Come on, boss. He's done enough agitating. He's just causing all kinds of trouble. Come on."
Jack is pushing Barb and Ian and Jacob towards the door, and turns and big smile and very politely thanks the doctor.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right, tips the hat.
Right,
Be sure you vote for me next year.
So you're standing outside. Okay. So we've been going almost 2 hours. We can continue. I'm fine with continuing, or we can. This is kind of a good breaking point, so we can keep going.
That's a good thing, right?
We can keep going.
I mean,
or
I don't care what we do.
I'm good to keep going, but it's whatever.
You guys tell me what
I'm
you're
sure
gonna do.
Chris is golden, and I'm not sure about Rob.
Yeah, actually, guys, it would be a good time for me to call it a night, probably.
That's fine.
Yep.
This is a pretty good spot to end it.
Yep,
honestly.
and it's not hard for me to pick up from here because I have, I don't really have. I might add some stuff, but as far as like being able to run this, fairly soon, I could run it, tomorrow again too. Not saying that I'm going to, but I could.
Well, I mean, now you kind of have to.
Next few days for sure.
Is that it? No. You can't back out. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Tomorrow I have plans, but other than that, I should be able to, I think.
Well, I don't know if we're doing Blades in the Dark on Friday or Saturday, but I might be able to do it on this coming weekend.